Why did Magic decide to do it this way?
Because Magic wanted to bring attention to the nonsense that has been sifting through the Lakers franchise like a virus, and the way to do it was by making sure you did it on the last game of the regular season as opposed to when the offseason had arrived and nobody would be around to answer any damn questions. I can't believe that people have missed this, that they haven't talked enough about this. Let me get this straight. We see the tearful Magic Johnson talking about his love for Jeannie Buss, which is sincere and real. That much is true. But this is the Magic Johnson that in 1991 sat before the media and had to tell the world that he was HIV positive. This is Magic Johnson that before that as a basketball player had lost a championship with turnovers at the Boston Garden. This is a Magic Johnson that once quit as the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers after ending a season losing 10 straight. This is a Magic Johnson that has faced loads and loads and loads of adversity, and suddenly it was too much to take to the point where you have to make a decision before the season even ended. That's not what's going on here. I'm going to tell you what's going on here. Magic Johnson feels betrayed. Magic Johnson feels betrayed by folks within the Lakers organization, not Jeannie Buss, but folks within the Lakers organization. He was hearing the chirping and the whispering, which he alluded to in the press conference yesterday. And there's so much stuff that's been going on, it's absolutely ridiculous. You hear about some expose that ESPN or somebody was going to report, because people were chirping about what he was like as a boss. That annoyed them. You've got Rob Pelinka, the general manager, pivotal in all of this. Why? Because Rob Pelinka is perceived as the individual, or has been talked about as the individual, that was at Laker facilities constantly joking around, asking the question, where's Magic, where's Magic, where's Magic? In other words, to bring attention to the fact that Magic Johnson was perceived as being an absentee executive. Now, Magic Johnson obviously wanted to fire Luke Walton. Luke Walton was scheduled to be fired today. At 10 o'clock this morning, by 10 o'clock this morning, Luke Walton and the coaching staff was gone. Magic Johnson was going to fire them. We can talk about Jeannie Buss, him going to Jeannie Buss and saying, excuse me, I want to do this, and her saying no, no, no. But the reality is that she was going to let Magic Johnson do whatever he wanted to do with basketball operations as it pertained to the coach, whether she liked it or not. Pelinka is an entirely different matter. He's there because of his relationship with Kobe. He definitely accomplished himself as an agent. Nobody can dispute that. Okay, but as a GM, this was his first go-round getting paid $5 million a year. And this is a guy that was working under Magic. Magic inherited him just like he inherited Luke Walton. Wasn't necessarily the guy that Magic Johnson wanted. Now, in fairness to Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, when I was told that Magic Johnson walked into there and talked with them about, or Jeannie rather, about wanting to get rid of not just Luke Walton, but Rob Pelinka as well. And that's when Jeannie Buss got her backup. Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka called me last night, categorically and emphatically denied that there's any truth to that whatsoever. But whether it's Wojnarowski, whether it's Ramona Shelburne, or a host of other NBA reporters, all of us have heard this within the last 12 hours. So this is the kind of stuff that was going on within the Lakers organization. Magic Johnson made the decision that he made yesterday because Max, Jalen, he wants everybody to sit up there and go like this. Excuse me, this is Magic Johnson here. He's just going to walk away with tears in his eyes, looking weak, and oh, by the way, bailing out on the team. He knows that most people who know him would not think that about him. They'd get their antennas up, they'd start asking questions, and they'd look directly in the direction of the Los Angeles Lakers. That's what he knows people will do. He knows they're doing it right now, and that's exactly what he wanted done, which is why he made the decision yesterday as opposed to after the season ended, because he wanted them in the eye of the storm right now.
Love me some Magic Johnson, but he's never going to live this down. Magic will never live this down. And if that's the reason he made this choice, I think it's poorly considered, especially considering he makes this announcement and totally overshadows the end of the careers of both Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade and Nowitzki. Their last games, and they're completely knocked out of any headlines because Magic just stole the show. Those kind of things, especially at that level of, executive leadership in the fraternity of the NBA, I think are important, and I think that was poorly thought out. I don't think Magic will ever live this down. That's how bad a decision it was to do it this way. Stephen A., you mentioned Kobe Bryant, and I'm going to talk about the Buss family. The late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, the greatest owner in the history of American team sports by far, was not perfect. Nobody is. And when Magic Johnson, who, let's not forget, was a coach killer. People always think coach killer is a bad thing, like you undermine the coach. I don't see it that way. I see a coach killer as a superstar player who knows that's not the right coach for him and the team, and they'd be better off with someone else. And Magic Johnson got rid of Paul Westhead, who was a championship coach. And when he did, because they weren't playing the style conducive to him, and by the way, I'm sure he doesn't like that reputation. LeBron James is now, his people are very concerned about this idea that LeBron James would be considered a coach killer, right, and want to get rid of Luke Walton. I'll get into that. We'll talk about that a little later. But what happened when Westhead was gotten rid of? Does anyone remember this? There was a circus carnival press conference in which the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, the greatest owner in the history of American team sports by far, announced 2 head coaches. The Lakers were going to have both Jerry West and Pat Riley as their, co-head coaches. He somehow thought that was a good idea. And it was a circus. And why? Well, partly it's because I think Dr. Buss liked to be liked. He felt loyal to people and liked to be liked. And I believe Jeannie is the same way. And I think at times that can be a detriment. When you look at who's in place, with the Lakers and where there may have been a sticking point. We look at Pelinka. Stephen A., you've been talking about that for weeks now. Rob Pelinka, how whatever, you need a GM with more experience if you have Magic Johnson as kind of the face of things, but not the guy who's going to roll up his sleeves and do all the GMing work,